morning. I'll come down here. I'm gonna wait for you guys to show up. It's Sunday morning, 10:30, our Sunday morning flow. Hi, Michelle. Hi. Hey, Fran. Hi. Good to see you guys. Hi, Noelle. Wow. Lori. So I love this because we're in all different parts of the country right now, or at least the East Coast. Randy, good morning. So it is our Sunday morning. Michelle, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Love to see all of you. Fran and Michelle and anybody else interested, Lori and I have a special thing that we're going to be doing for you guys coming up in the next couple of weeks. Hi, Martha. You're welcome to it too. Anyway, happy Sunday. Happy, I think it's late morning flow, so I'm really happy to be here for you, with you. And all you need is your mat. This is my first time using ear pods, so let me know if it sounds clearer to you later on. Just shoot a little post at the end, because these are really a game changer in my life. I got them last night, and it's already changed my life. Anyway, welcome to Sunday. Welcome to the mat. Welcome to, boy, I'm going into 7 weeks tomorrow of quarantine, and I have to admit, I'm kind of getting used to it. I've made a lifestyle change, and it's serving me at this point. I mean, we can sit here and complain about it, but the fact is that we are here. We're hopefully safe and healthy, and this is one of the most important things that we can do while we're home. Exercise, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. So please, guys, don't give up on doing it. There's so many options out there, including myself, but in addition to myself, for all this amazing fitness and yoga and meditation, that you can't miss out on it. All right? So take this opportunity to figure out why we're here, and groove with it. Just get into it. So on that note, I want to bring you a standing forward fold. Sorry. So come back up, or up if you're, stay up if you are. And I'm going to come to the top of my mat, but I'm going to widen my legs as wide as the short edges of my mat. So my pinkies, toes are on the edges of the mat. And if you need to, you put your hands on your thighs or on blocks to support you, or else I just want you to simply hang in between your two legs. And remember, a lot of the time my head will be up because I'm trying to get the microphone and the voice to you. So I don't recommend lifting your head up in this position at all. I'd like you to keep your head down. And so in this position, knees are bent because it's our first forward fold of the morning for some of us. Maybe some of you have been here before. So I want you to mindfully come into it softly and let your head hang down. And I like to kind of move through my hips a little bit, just swaying and getting a little bit of a little juice in there. Maybe sway my shoulders with it a little bit more, and I'm just kind of hanging here, settling into it. Maybe I start to sway a little bit side to side. Yesterday's practice, I did a little of this non-linear movement, this very round movement, and it feels good. We tend to move in very, very straight lines, unless you dance. And if you dance, make it a happy dance today. Come back to center when you're ready and just fold. If you can let go of your arms and your legs or your blocks, just grab opposite elbows and hang. And just feel the weight of the body, the head, and gravity drawing you downward as your sitting bones lift up and start spreading. My knees are still bent, but maybe a little bit less than they have been. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit more of that release. And now I want to pull my opposite arms apart. So I always imagine that I have like a lead bar between my arms, and I'm trying to open it, pull it apart, which you can't. So unless you're Superman and you have kryptonite, or maybe that's the opposite. So pull against your opposite elbows and feel the upper back and even some muscles at the chest and underarms start to feel connected. And then with that pulling, I want you to ragdoll your body to stand, but keep pulling your arms apart. Tuck your chin in. And keep the arms pulling apart so when they come up over our head, they're still pulling apart. And then open up your shoulders. Try not to lift your shoulders to your ears here. Try to bring your rib cage down towards your hips. And just lean over to your right side. And let your right ear rest on your right bicep as you continue to pull the arms apart. And then press the left arm open, and maybe you gaze up at that left elbow crease. Maybe that's too much for your neck, so don't do it if it doesn't feel right. I always want you to do what feels right for you. And then one more breath here. Come back to center when you empty the breath on the next inhale. And then bend your knees and keep your biceps by your ears, kind of like Dream of Genie time. Drop your seat into a chair, but keep pulling the arms apart. And as you exhale, fold back down to the floor. Now remember which arm is on top, because I just want you to let go and sway. And again, it's always that habitual arm that's going to land there first. So without thinking about it, it's going to go there. So now I want you to take the less habitual arm and cross that in front. And pull the arm. Pull the arms apart. Spread your upper back, your chest. Relax everything else down. Soften your knees. You can bend your knees. Who cares? And then start to roll back up again. Take your time, chin to chest. I'm pulling my arms apart from each other at the same time. Inhale. Lean to the left side as you exhale. Maybe you look up at your right elbow crease and just lift out of that left waistline. Breathe. Keep it going. Just don't hold the breath. Hold the pose, not the breath. And the pose changes while we're holding it, by the way. I mean, it's not just pure static. Come back to center. Lift your chest up. Maybe do a little bit more of a back bend here. Maybe you feel a little bit warmer. And then come back, biceps by the ears. I Dream of Genie Asana. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, pull your arms apart. And this time, stay in this chair. Release the arms and bring them behind your back. Interlace your fingers, palms together if you can. Knuckles away from you. So open up your front chest. Keep the crown of the head pulling forward so you don't have tension in your neck. And as you empty the breath, fold in half. Straighten the legs to the best of your ability, arms up. So my knees are still bent. I have tight hamstrings. I have a tight back. I'm just going to have my legs bent most of the time that I'm in a forward fold. Inhale and empty the breath. Now keep your arms together and pull them back away from you. Bring your collarbones forward and rise up to standing, pressing down through the feet. Lift your heart up, knuckles down, chest up. Eye gaze goes up. Careful of this little pooching out of the rib cage, so draw the ribs and hips, knit them together. Knuckles down. Inhale, release the arms and take them overhead. Exhale, swan dive, bend your knees. Now bring your right arm in front of your left and sweep back up, all the way opening. Exhale, bring the left arm in front of the right, sweep up, open. Exhale, right arm in front of left, sweep up, open. One more time, left in front of right. Open now, stay in this open position. You look like a giant X. Spread your fingers, spread your toes, lift your knees up, tuck your tailbone. Bring yourself to your right side, tilt over, little teapot. Right arm's gonna come across and lean a little bit more to the right side. Now I'm not collapsing into my right side and I'm not sinking into my hips. I'm lifting up and over, so I'm creating space. Inhale, biceps by the ears, rise up again. Bring it back to your giant X. Exhale, left side, pull the shoulder back. Good. Now take your left arm, cross the body, Abhaya Mudra, pushing fear away. We need a lot of that right now. And then inhale, biceps by the ears. Rise up, heart lifts, open up. Exhale, fold down. Excuse me. Well, that probably came in really loud with my ear pods on, sorry. It's allergies, as they say. Sway a little side to side. Now, come to your fingertips, shins, or blocks, and place your palms, if you can, to the floor or just the fingertips here, but just out in front of your feet. Lift your heart up. Then fold, and maybe the hands print on the floor and head comes down. So in a wider leg, I have a little bit more, for me, flexibility in my back and hips. Come back to your fingertips, lengthen your spine, or you're on the blocks or shins, bring your collarbones forward. Exhale, try to press the palms down. The knees don't have to be straight. And step back with that wide leg into a plank pose. So your feet are as wide as your short edge of your mat. Draw your collarbones forward. Your shoulders are above the wrists or maybe slightly in front. Now bring the chin to the chest. Round your upper back and roll up into a downward dog with a wide leg. My arms are still the width of my shoulders, but my legs are a little bit wider than my hips. Inhale, round your spine. Come on your toes. Take it back forward to your high plank. And then lengthen your spine. So crown of the head forward, knees are lifted. If you get tired, go to your knees. Bring your chin to your chest. Round your upper back. Pull the belly in. And like a wave, roll back up into a downward dog. And then make your way into that traditional dog, just with our feet wider still. One more time. So I want you to bring your chin to your chest and round your upper back. Pull yourself up and forward into that high plank. So you've got the rounded back here. And then we extend the spine a little bit more. This time, all I want you to do is drop your knees to the floor, take your toes together, and push back to your heels. Child's pose. Extended. Arms are active. Arms are out. Head is down. And reach your fingers broad. I want you to feel like we did. I'm pulling the arms apart. I want you to feel the spreading of that upper back. Really engage the muscles. You know, you can do this with very little engagement, or you can do this with a lot of engagement. It's your choice, right? So you can make it very active. And then climb up onto your fingertips and walk to your right side. Left arm on top or longer than the right. Push your left hip to your heel. Drop your shoulder down. Let your body melt. Go as far as it is comfortable for you to go, without stress, without creating any tension anywhere else. Rise up on the inhale, walk over to the left side, right hand on top or longer than left. Push your hips back. Let your belly soften in between your thighs. Relax your shoulders. Keep breathing. That's the one important thing. And that's the one thing that doesn't change in our practice is our breathing. Rise up on the inhale, walk forward, and you notice I cue with inhales and exhales very often in our vinyasa sequence, so we move with the breath. We connect it together. We become one. On the next inhale, rise up to your hands and knees, and now we're going to bring our knees right underneath our hips and just sway our hips side to side a little bit. Just tucking that right hip towards the right shoulder, left hip towards the left shoulder. And then make some circles. Maybe you like to tuck your toes under here. Maybe you like to have the top of your foot down. And maybe those circles start to become bigger. Maybe get a little more into your hips, your shoulders, your wrists, your knees, your ankles and toes. And then reverse the direction. Just keep making movements. Big, juicy movements. And then let's take it forward and back a little bit. So I like to take my feet wide again. And then when I come back, I bring the toes together. Keep doing that. Bring your chest forward. Shoulders down, heart lifts. Sit back. Let's do it one more time and stay forward on this one. If this is too much for you, drop to your belly and go to a cobra. Look over your right shoulder towards your left heel. Just take a little gaze. Drop your chin through your chest to the other side. Drop your chin to your chest. Push back to your seat, tuck your toes. Lift your knees off the floor, downward dog, hips up in the air. Bring your feet about hips width apart, which you can eyeball now, but later we'll show you how to find it with two fists in between your 2 feet. Rise up onto your toes. And traditional, come into your high plank just with a flat spine, not that rounded back. There's a slight rounding in the upper back, but not as excessive as we were doing before. And then hips up in the air, downward dog. Good, so we measure out the distance between our hands and our feet into our plank. So let's do it one more time into high plank. Shouldn't have to move your hands. Lower knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Hug the elbows in by your side. Glide forward onto your belly. Low cobra, elbows hug the side, crown of the head forward. I have my feet together, pulling away from my center. Everything moves from the center or to the center. So the arms and the legs squeeze to center, the head and the feet move away from center. On the exhale, push back, seat to heels, toes tuck. Knees lifted, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift up high onto your tippy toes and bend your knees and bring your chest towards your thighs. Turbo dog. And then walk your feet towards your hands. Take little steps. If you need to bend your knees a lot, go ahead. And now you can take your two fists in between your feet to see the width of your hips. And fold. So when we say hips width apart, it's usually about that much, two fists in between. Chin to chest, hang your head. So maybe it feels, hopefully it feels a little bit better than it did several moments ago, right? And then hang your head and just roll through your spine, take your time. When you get up to standing, the shoulders stack on top of the hips, the head on top of the shoulders. Bring your feet together this time. Bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. If you haven't set already an intention, a thought, a desire, a meditation, a mantra, take one here. We can collectively share in sending our good wishes out into the universe. As you open your eyes, bring your arms overhead with your thumbs crossed, spreading your fingers. So I'll move back just a little bit so you can see as I lift my heart up. And as I exhale, forward fold, hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, one knuckle over from the, or one finger over from the last time, head down. Stretch the arms away from your back. Inhale, hands to floor, shins or blocks, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, halfway lift, right foot steps all the way back, and let's lower that right knee to the floor. And you can always keep the right knee to the floor when we move into bigger lunges. Left knee over the ankle. It could be a little bit forward again, but as long as that heel does not lift. So if the heel starts to lift, you need to just scoot forward or move back a little bit. Then climb to your fingertips or maybe your blocks. This is called in fitness and yoga like the greatest stretch in the world. It's for your hip flexors, and so for you people who are sitting a lot, maybe more than usual because you're home more or you're still at your desk and you're sitting, get up a couple times a day, but at least 5 minutes, an hour, and stretch. Bring your hands to your thighs. Stretch out those psoas. If they get tight, this starts happening to our body. Now push your left knee forward and push your right hip forward. I like to take the back of my right foot and the top of my foot and shin and press down, and it just helps me activate a little bit more, but some people need the more stability, tucking the toes under, so that's fine. And then bring the arms overhead, inhale, reach your heart up, grab your thumbs again, open up and spread your fingers, lift out of your waistline. Exhale, lean to your left side, try to draw that left hip towards midline still. Inhale and lean to your right side as you exhale. Come back to center. Open up the arms like goalposts. Just pull them back. And then release the hands and straighten your front leg and fold over your left shin. So here in particular, I do like to take the top of my right foot and shin and press down. Now I'm trying to not avoid my hamstrings even though they're tight and I have a slight tear. So I'm trying to keep my left big toe down and just be a little bit more mindful of it. Take another breath here. Bend your front knee. Lift your heart up. Bring your left hand inside of your left leg and turn your right foot to the left side. Bring the right arm up and open up that twist. Tuck your tailbone underneath you, so try not to stick that left hip out. And find some length at the left side of your body. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, right hand comes down. Turn the left toes forward. There's nothing fancy about this one. Get up to a wide-legged stretch. And fold your body in half over the two wide legs. And typically, in these positions, there's about the length of one of your own legs in between your two legs. So I have long legs. Now, if your head touches easily to the floor, you might want to shorten that stance. If you don't get anywhere near it, you can widen it a little bit, but we don't have to go too far. And then climb to your fingertips, lengthening your spine, pulling the head forward and the hips back, and be very mindful here, while you may or may not have a mirror, that your knees don't go beyond the level of your hips, so you don't hyperextend the knees. I'd rather you have a little bit weight forward into the balls of the foot or a slight bend in your knees. And then climb to your fingertips. Bring your hands to your hips or your heart, flat back. Crown of the head forward, tailbone back, so it's a nice flat back. I hope mine is. And then rise up to standing. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. Inhale, open up the arms out shoulder height. Your feet are still pointing in the same direction. And now, like we did with our hands and our pinkies moving out to the outer edges of the mat, I want you to feel that on your legs. I want you to feel like your legs are pushing against the outer edges of the mat. Notice what a difference that makes in your stance. How much stronger and how much more powerful and stable you will feel when you engage muscle. Arms are out shoulder height. Once again, I want to bring my arms behind my back, palms together, knuckles down. Lift your heart all the way up. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Maybe you go a lot, maybe you only go a little bit. And lead with your heart to come into a forward fold halfway. So we're stopping halfway again. Arms go out, head goes forward, tailbone goes back. My knees are slightly bent or my weight's more into the balls of my feet. And now I fold all the way down, hands come over my back. Maybe they just lift a micro millimeter off of my back. But some of you will get your arms all the way over your head. Great. It's not going to be me, but I will still, my intention is there. One more breath. Release your hands to the floor on the inhaling breath. Lengthen your spine and turn back to the front. Right knee is off the floor unless you want it down. Left hand to your hip, twist to the left side. Open up into a twisted lunge, drawing that left hip in. So again, you can have the right knee to the floor. Your gaze can be up at your left arm or down at your left foot. Breathe. Keep creating length from the crown of the head back to the tailbone. As you exhale, hands to the floor. Lengthen your spine, step back to a high plank. Lower down to your knees or chaturanga, or halfway down, and roll over your toes or on your belly. Lift your heart up, and then find your way back to downward dog or child's pose. So if this is not enough for you, go to your child's pose. And remember, we want to now press the arms out towards the edges of the mat, so those pinky fingers towards the edge of the mat, and try the same thing with your legs here. Bring your feet a little closer. Bring your right leg in the air. Soften the left knee, look forward, and help your right foot to the front of your mat as you lower the left knee down. Release the back foot, or tuck it under if you need. So again, knee over the ankle, maybe a little bit in front as long as that heel's not lifting, or just help it out a little bit here. And press the left top of the foot and shin down unless you want more stability, and tuck the toes under. Just offers a little bit more information into my hip. And then rise up to your fingertips. Inhale, the arms come up overhead. Let's shoot the opposite finger in front. Lift your heart up. Push that left hip forward and lean to your right side. Oh, that feels really good. Inhale, up and over to the other side. And that feels really good too, but I feel a little bit more compression. Come back to center. Lift your heart up. Open up the arms, goalpost arms. And exhale, fold over, straighten your right leg, and fold your head to your shin. Pushing down through the top of the left foot and shin. And then drawing the right hip towards midline, hang your head towards your shin. Try to relax the neck and shoulders because they're not going to stretch your hamstrings. So you don't need to create any tension. Last breath as we bring the right knee back to bend. Right hand inside, right thigh hug, knee to shoulder. Take your left foot to your right side and then scoot that hip underneath you. Left arm comes up. Maybe you look up at it. Maybe you're looking down at your right hand and foot. But keep lifting out of the right side of your waistline. Find length and move into the space that we're creating. One more breath. Left hand down. I'm going to turn. There's nothing graceful about getting into this pose, so I'm just going to turn myself to the left side. with my toes pointing either a little bit pigeoned or straight ahead. Climb to the fingertips and then fold in between the two legs. Let's go ahead and take a peace finger grip around the big toe. So I grab my big toe, I wrap my thumb underneath, and as I exhale, I pull my toe up and I push my fingers down and the elbows go out to the side. The head comes down towards the floor. Remember, if your head touches really easily, then shorten your stance. And if it doesn't touch easily at all, widen your stance. And if you'd like to go into a headstand here, you can take an inversion or any other inversion. This is a nice moment for it as we stay for 2 more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. And the rest of us are just working our bodies in half. 1 more breath. Release your toes, hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your hands to your hips or your heart. With a nice long spine, rise up to standing. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. Put your hands on your back, fingers in either direction. Squeeze your elbows together and lift up and out of your torso. And bring your heart up and back. So it's a back bend, but I don't want you to dump into your lower back. And it could be, it could just be lifting and extending the spine is enough for you. 1 more breath. Now lead forward again as you exhale. Bring your hands to the floor all the way down. Rise up halfway. Walk around to the right leg. Left leg is off the floor or down if you need it. Right arm opens up and we twist to the right side. Hugging the right hip in towards the midline. Breathe in and breathe out. Keep space between your ears and shoulders. Reach your fingers in 2 long directions. Take another breath. As you empty the breath, right hand comes down. Right foot steps back, high plank. Lower down, knees, chest, and chin, or chaturanga. Upward dog or low cobra. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe. How we doing out there, guys? I hope you can hear me crystal clear with my wonderful earpods. Soften your knees, lift on your toes, and then bring your chest towards your thighs and lift your tail up in the air. Straighten the legs, downward facing dog, and then walk the feet together. Right leg back in the air, left knee bends. Look forward and step that right leg through. Let's start with the twist, opening up to the right side, stacking shoulders, gaze up to your thumb. As you exhale, bring the right hand inside of the foot. Now you can be on your knee and do the same thing we did before, or you can turn that left foot on its side, come into side angle pose, or you can put a block underneath your hand, or you can rest on your thigh, or you can be all the way down to the floor. You choose, and you do you, yeah? Left arm up over your shoulder, gaze up at it. Bringing the bottom side of your body up and in. Look down at your right toes. Inhale, as you rise up, go right into your reverse warrior, right arm up. Then straighten your front leg and bring your arms parallel to the floor. And then bring your back foot in once or twice. And now I want you to adjust your hips so your hip bones and your chest and your shoulders all face your left side of the room, your left wall. So we're lined up, we're stacked up nice and strong. The knees are lifted. The outer thighs are squeezing outward while the heels are drawing inward. So there's a lot of action in the legs. Arms reach in 2 directions. Flip your palms open, move your hips now back to your left side, and reach your torso to your right side. Go as far as you can, but don't touch down yet. I know you want to touch down, flip your palms. Reach back into that reverse triangle. Hug that left hip towards the right side. Right leg is straight on this one. Inhale, rise back up and reach all the way out towards the front. Now, take that right hand down, inside, outside foot, shin or block. Maybe you have a big toe grip. If you do, your legs are probably a little bit shorter. And you want to make sure that, again, you don't collapse into this right side. So here's something I like to do. Take your left peace fingers underneath your right rib cage. And if you can't find the rib cage, you're probably collapsed into your side. So bring your hand up a little higher, anything but your knee, so that you can keep that long spine. Anything you do here, if you want to take Utthita or a big bind. Now, if you take the arms over your head like this, I like you to lift your torso up a little bit more, again, so you're not dumping into your spine here. So you don't want to crunch into your side body. You want to create length and hold. One more breath, rise up, reverse your triangle again. And as you exhale, windmill down to the floor. Right arm comes back up, we twist, and now maybe you want to spin onto the outer edges of your feet. Just another sensation, right? Just feel something different. Breathe in, breathe out. And then let the right hand come back down. Square off your body. Right leg in the air, three-legged downward facing dog. Kick it up. Shake it out. Move it around. Explore, hit knees and ankles. And then turn your torso forward. Bend your left knee, bring your right knee to your chest, round and curl. Then bring it forward to a high plank. Right leg meets left, vinyasa. Your way. Add to it, take away from it. This is your practice, guys. You can do whatever satisfies you. If it's too much, back off. If it's not enough, add on. You know what to do. Left leg in the air, bend the right knee. Look between your hands. Float it through. Help it out if you need to. Right hand moves in, left arm opens up, twist. Stack your shoulders. Draw that left hip inward. Inhale. And exhale one more. As you empty the breath, left hand comes inside left foot. Turn your right foot on its side. When I do that, that left hip just kind of wants to go to the left, so I want to draw it back in. Right arm comes up, side angle. So again, you can rest your arm on your thigh. If you need a block, you can put a block. If you don't have blocks, just pile up some books. Side angle pose. We are looking for space in that left side of your body. You know what's going on in the right. You can feel it. But don't collapse into the left. Look down at your left toes. Now we're going to come all the way up into a reverse triangle so the front leg straightens. Pull that right hip towards the left. And then come back up, standing up straight. First, let's heel toe the back foot in once or twice. Left toes are forward, right toes are about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit less. And now I want to drop my right hip and left hip more parallel. And then shoulders, everything faces that right side. Arms out, shoulder height. Now flip your palms, move your hips back, move your torso forward. We're not touching down here. So use the energy in your torso. And then reach back, reverse your triangle. Pull your right hip towards your left hip and notice how much more space you suddenly have in that side bend. Inhale, back up. Hips move right, torso moves left. Reach, 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 reach. Now come down, left arm down, right arm up. Either on your foot, shin, or ankle, maybe on a block, maybe you've got your peace finger grip. It's been a long time since I could. I used to put my hand behind my foot, right? But that was then, this is now. So you know what, as our bodies change, as our lives change, things change about our practice. You notice a lot more changing in your practice, whether it's stronger or just another way to navigate it. If you like, you can take Utthita, arm overhead. Keep working that shoulder open. And if you're going to take both arms over your head, rise up first and then frame your face. Your choice. But again, don't crunch into that side body. We're about creating length here. Now rise up, reverse your triangle. Exhale, windmill down to the floor. Right hand down, left hand up. Now stay here, or maybe you roll to the outer edges of your feet. A little bit of a steer pose. Breathe in and out. Hang in there, guys. It's all about the breathing. As you exhale, return to center. Left leg goes back in the air, three-legged downward dog. Shake it out. Turn your hips square, knee to chest, right knee bends as well. We're in a dog here. Then we move into our plank. Step back and vinyasa. Up and downward facing dogs. Hips up in the air. Breathe. Inhale and exhale. Now I want you to come down to your knees for a moment. Sit on your heels all the way back so that you're sitting right on top of your heels. If that's not good for your knees or doesn't feel right to you, you can take, again, a block, a blanket, something. You can also put, if you really have tight knees, you can take another mat or a towel blanket and put it behind your hamstrings, between your hamstrings and your calves, so that you don't have such a close flexed angle of your knee. And then place your hands on top of your thighs. Close your eyes. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. Drop your shoulders down. Gaze down towards the tip of your nose, so your eyes are this, little slit open, just not tightly closed, but you have this internal gaze to the tip of the nose. And then bring your hands to your heart center, and you can keep that drishti, that gaze to the nose, nadi drishti. On the inhaling breath, rise up to your shins. Separate your feet about hips width apart, tuck your toes underneath you. Reach your arms up in the air, separate them. Drop your shoulders down, lift out of your heart center. Now we're going to take the right arm back to the right heel. When I get there, I'm going to push my hips forward, turn my right shoulder as much forward as I can, flip my left palm back and arch back. So I've got a nice half camel. Breathe in. And as I exhale, I'm going to come down. I'm going to release my feet, sit on my heel, left arm to the left side, right arm behind, and twist. So I like to twist after I back bend usually. So this is just another way of getting there. Inhale, rise back up to your shins, arms up. Tuck your toes underneath you, if you want just the left toes. And then draw the left hand to the left heel. Right arm's going to turn back, my palm's going to turn backwards, like the queen waving. And pull your shoulder forward, left side. And then push your hips forward, and then we arch back. So I'm trying to lift out of my waistline to create that arch, rather than dumping into my lower back. And then I'm going to come back to center, release my feet, have a seat on my heels, left arm behind me, right arm outside of my left thigh. Inhale, back to center, arms up, back on your shins. Bring your hands to your heart center. So a couple of options here. You can do the exact same thing we just did, side to side. Or you can bring your hands on your back and just lift up into a nice little arch back. Right? Just a little bit arch. So you choose what you want to do. Or, just lost a toenail. Or, you can take your arms overhead and do both arms or one at a time, reaching back to your toes. Okay? So you choose, arms up, inhale, whatever you're doing. Right arm to right foot, left arm to left foot. Once you get there, push your hips forward. Jane, if you're watching and you like what we did last week, go back to it, starting in your rabbit and into your camel, because I know you said that accesses it more for you. For the rest of us today, we're going to stay in our traditional camel. All right, so pushing your hips forward. Once you get a hold of your heels, don't just sit back here. Push your hips forward. Create that big, giant, what hump? Yeah? One more breath. Good, now rise up any way you can. You can either take both arms to your heart, come up, or any other variations that you're working with. And then I just want you to bring your knees a little closer, sit down on your heels, cup your heels with your hands. Bring your chin to your chest. Round your spine, forehead to the knees. Crown of the head to the floor. As you lift your hips up, round your back, pull your heels with your hands, and create that rounded spine. There should be no weight on your head. It should be into the tops of your feet and shin as you press down and create that arch. But don't put the weight in the head. Not necessary. Not safe. And then release your hips back to the floor. Release your arms by your side. Take a few breaths. Relax your shoulders. Let them drape open. Walk your arms out in front of you. Spread your fingers. Bring your forearms to the floor. Separate your knees, hips width apart. Now, take opposite elbows with your hands. So I'm going to give you options. It's like a Chinese menu. We always have options. Bring your opposite elbows to your hands so you notice the width of your shoulders, all right? So when we bring our arms back out in front of us and we start doing things, the tendency is for those arms to spread apart. So you could take a block in between the arms to kind of remind you how wide you should be, or a strap around your arms to help you not open them up, or you can be very conscious and just really work dynamic tension. Now, tuck your toes underneath you. Your head is off the floor. Lift your knees up and lift your hips up in the air. And just walk it side to side a little bit. Press your knees right and left side. Shift your hips from side to side. And then come back up onto your tippy toes. And now I want you to just rock gently in front of your thumbs and push your hips back up. Do that a bunch of times. You can continue to do that, or if you're inclined to try to take a headstand from here, if you already know how to get there, go there. Otherwise, I'm going to cue it to you. I'm probably not going to do it, but because I don't think it's a great angle. So, if you want to continue with your dolphin push-ups, they're great for strengthening your core and your shoulders. If you want to try your headstand, place your head in between your arms and walk your feet up towards your arms. As high as you can get your feet, as close as you can, and then lift maybe your dominant leg off the floor. Don't kick it, because that's a sure back bend that you'll flip over into a bridge, and that's okay, go there. So lift your dominant leg off your floor, engage Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and then rise up with the other leg so you have 2 feet in the air, headstand. Again, no weight in your head, forearms, yes. So all those dolphin strengtheners are going to really help you. If you're up in the air, stay for a couple breaths. If you're down in your dolphins, let's go back into child's pose. And everybody else, when you're coming down from your headstand, back into your child's pose with your arms by your side, shoulders straight open. If you want to learn how to do that separately from this class today, please get in contact with me. I can surely help you. All right? It's more fear than anything else for a lot of us, right? And then just finding out the proper placement of our bodies, because there's misconceptions about how to get into certain poses, right? And so we tend to use our brain a little bit in the wrong direction sometimes. All right, so come back to your hands and knees when you're ready. Tuck your toes, find your downward facing dog, and walk your downward facing dog out. Rise up onto your toes. Let's just wipe the slate clean here. Come back to a high plank. Lower through vinyasa, upward, and downward facing dogs one more time. Chest to thighs, hang your head, let it go. Walk your dog from side to side again. And then soften your knees and walk your feet halfway up your mat. Bring your hands back to your feet. Fold over your legs. Press down through the bottoms of your feet and slowly roll through your spine. Take your time. Roll your shoulders back and around a couple times. Arms by your side. So one thing we haven't done so much today is balance. And you know, balance is essential for us. You know that when you walk, every time you walk, you're balancing, right? So balance is essential for us from every age, right? All right, feet together. Spread your toes. Shift your weight to your left leg without collapsing into it. And then bring your hands on your hips so you can notice that collapsing. And lift your right leg off the floor. Right knee in line with your hip, or maybe in line with your belly button, and just maybe a little higher. And then open it out to the side and grab a hold of the foot and place it above or below the knee or on the floor again, or if you practice in half lotus. Hands to prayer. Now, think about pushing down through your left leg nice and stable and opening up the right leg and down towards the floor. And the feet and the hands are doing the exact same thing. They're creating a little compression against each other. Anything you want to challenge here, if you want to close your eyes, it's surely going to be a big balance challenge. Or maybe you want to open up your tree branches, drop your shoulders down. Maybe you want to dance it a little bit. So play with it. This is your play hour. But remember, stay strong and firm in that left leg. It is your one limb of foundation right now. And then bring the arms back to prayer. Let go of the right leg carefully and float it behind you. Dip your belly, arch your back. Bring your hands to the floor or blocks. Left hand stays down, right hand moves to the hip. We open to the right side, stack shoulders, stack hips. Right leg strong and extended, right arm strong and extended. And maybe, just maybe, your eye gaze goes up to your right hand. If you have other variations, take them. You can bind, you can do prayer. Breathe in and out. So you can be on your left knee and do this in a kneeling position. There's no reason you can't do this pose. You just modify or intensify. One more breath. Right hand comes down, square the hips, right knee to chest, round and curl. Kick that right leg behind you. Step it down about 2 to 3 feet. Walk your hands back in so that my heels maybe are in line with each other, but I'm not on train tracks, right? I'm not on a tightrope. I'm actually on train tracks. I'm not on a tightrope. And then bring your hands on the inside and outside of your left leg. If you need a block, grab it close by. And then just rise up, hands to hips or heart, rise up to standing. So I've got about 2 to 3 feet between my 2 feet here. Left hand to my sacrum, right arm in the air. Lift and lengthen out of our torso. As you exhale, right hand's going to come down. We're going to keep the length from the spine to the tailbone. Reach out, then rotate outside of the foot. If you can't do it outside the foot, go ahead inside. Or maybe you're on your shin. Or maybe you're on a block. I love blocks in this pose, by the way. Now lengthen again and then rotate. Left arm comes up. Parvrita Trikonasana, twisted, revolved, triangle pose. I'm hugging my hips to center. I'm reaching my head forward and my tailbone back. And my arms in opposition to each other. One more breath. As you empty the breath, fold over your left leg. Now, bend your left knee. Put your forehead on top of your knee. Look upwards towards your belly button. Pull your belly button into your spine. Lift up your pelvic floor. Draw your chin to your chest. Mahabandha, 3 major bandhas in our body are activated here. And then bringing your hands in prayer in front of your foot, biceps by the ears. Roll up through your spine. Take your time. Come all the way up to standing. Step your right foot to your left foot, hands in prayer. Samastitihi, arms by your side. Good. Ground your feet. Stay nice and strong. Open up your left hip to the left side. Well, actually, I think we started forward, so let's start forward. Bring your left knee up in line with your hip, or maybe up to your belly button, flex your foot. Then open it out. And grab a hold of the foot. Place it inside the inner thigh, below the knee, on the floor, or half lotus. And then notice what's going on. Notice my waviness, right? I mean, the world is turning. I'm moving with it. I'm trying to dance as fast as I can. So right leg is nice and strong, lifting my kneecap up for stability. I'm pressing my feet and my hands together in the same manner. And then this right leg is really what's grounding me into the earth. So it is my foundation. Any other variations that you might have taken or want to play with, I encourage you, I welcome you to do that. And we're going to gently release the left leg. Kick it back behind you. Dip your belly, arch your back. Forward fold, hands to floor or blocks. Right foot forward, right hand underneath shoulder, left hand to your hip. Turn your hips to the left side, stacking shoulders. Flex that left foot, and then bring the left arm up over your shoulder. Maybe your eye gaze goes with it. So as strong as that right leg was standing, I know it's starting to feel, you got some sensation in that right leg. It's the same power. It is your binding, your foundation. Maybe your right hand's giving it a little assistance now, but maybe it's not on the floor. And take another breath. As you exhale, left hand comes down, left knee to chest, round and curl, and then step that left leg back 2 to 3 feet.
heel to heel alignment. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Then rise to your fingertips, hands at hearts. Wherever you come up, come up. If you need the block, you're going to take it over to the right side. Right hand on your sacrum, left arm up. Inhale, lengthen. Reach your left arm forward and your hips back. So stop halfway and notice your tabletop position. If you need a block, you take it outside or inside of that right leg. And then keep reaching forward as you draw the right hip back, left hip forward, round the head forward. Keep lengthening out of your torso, and then bring your left hand down onto the foot shin or a block, twisting to the right side, squeezing your hips towards midline. That's a really hard part for me in this pose because my hips are pretty tight and they just kind of want to shoot out. So draw everything towards midline. Keep lengthening your spine. Twist open, breathe, breathe, breathe. And then empty the breath. Fold over your right leg. Bend your right knee. Put your forehead on top of it. And I really mean that. Put your forehead on your knee. Bend your knee as much as you need to get there. Hang out. Look upward towards your belly button. Engage those three major bandhas. Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, Mula Bandha. Arms in front of you, palms together. Switch the cross of your thumbs. Rise up to standing. Bring your arms with you. Step left foot to right foot, hands in prayer. Arms by your side. Breathe in, take those arms overhead. Empty the breath, fold over your legs. Step to a high plank. Hold your plank for one breath. Lower down as you exhale, hold one breath in and out. And then lift up and open. Downward dog, hips up in the air. And make your way onto your knees, child's pose. Sit back on your heels, let it go. So I'm going to be turning myself in another direction for you. You're going to stay facing exactly as you are. Rise up from your child's pose, come up to your hands and knees, and just very simply bring your legs in front of you. Nothing to it. Another non-fancy move. So not everything has to be fancy. All right. Arms down by your side, Dandasana, staff pose. I hope my feet are clean. Turn your toes up towards your face and pull your shoulders back and down. And then the trick here, or not the trick, but the way I know if I'm really using my body here is if I let go of my hands and nothing changes. I call this Shlumpasana, those of you who know me. All right, so if I don't go into Shlumpasana, then I know that I'm working a lot. This is a really hard place to be, right, for a lot of us. So Dandasana staff pose, shoulders back and down. And then if you can, just release your fingers out in front of you. Drop your shoulders down. See if anything moved. If you have to, you bend your knees. If you have to, you separate your feet. Now I'm going to turn, and we're going to bring our chin to our chest and just round the spine, point the toes, and roll down. I see you there, Lisa, so this is like Pilates. Roll down slowly. One vertebrae at a time. Don't miss that lower part of your back before your middle back goes down, and then lay on the floor and hug your knees up to your chest. Place your right hand on your right knee, left hand on your left knee, and make opposing circles, just opening up. Let your back go with it. And then reverse. Hug your knees to your chest, round and curl your spine. Grab a hold of your ankles, shins, or tops of your feet. And today, lift your legs up in the air, flex your feet. Let your head come down for a moment and just notice where your legs are straight. If they're over your hips and they're bent and your tailbone's lifting, I don't want that happening. So I want your legs as straight as you can. They may be not quite over your hips. So flex your feet like you're standing on the ceiling and push your ceiling away while you push your tailbone towards the floor, and then notice what goes on in the center of your body. Take a big breath in, lift your head and shoulders up, reach towards your feet, and then push your belly so deep into your spine that your tush lifts up an inch, a quarter inch, 2 inches, whatever it is. Breathe in and empty out one more time. Let it go. Hug your knees in. Cross your right leg over your left leg once. Grab your heels towards your buttocks, maybe top of your feet, maybe your toes, and let your tailbone lengthen to the floor. So I don't want your hips up in the air. I want your back flat against the floor, imprinted. Uncross the legs, switch the crossing, left leg over right once or twice. Pull the heels towards the buttocks, lengthen out your spine, breathe in, and breathe out. Uncross the legs, hug the knees to the chest, round and curl your spine. Once again, lift your legs in the air, reach your arms toward your feet and maybe your hips off the floor for 3, for 2, and 1. Head down, knees down. Now, place your arms right outside your hips. For some of you, you might want them underneath your hips. Lift your legs up in the air, flex and point. Draw your belly in, ribs towards hips. Flex and point. Now lower your legs about 1/3 of the way down. You're going to lose my legs, but trust me. Flex and point. And then lower another 1/3 of the way down, flex and point. Then lower all the way down to the floor. Lift up onto your forearms, top of the head to the floor. Heart opens up. Chin opens up. Take the bottom jaw over the top jaw. Place your weight again on your forearms, not your head. Matsyasana, fish pose. If you have another variation of this pose, feel free to take it. There's a lot of them out there. Maybe you're in lotus. When you're ready to come out of this pose, bring your chin to your chest and lay your back on the floor. Separate your feet about hips width apart. Take your hands and interlace them any grip behind your head. Flex your feet really strongly like you're pushing the wall away from you. Bring your elbows by your ears and bring your chin to your chest and just stretch the neck. Flex the feet towards your face. Pull your heels away. Pull your knees up. Everything is really active here. In Pilates, we do this into a roll-up, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to stretch here. One more breath. And lay it back down. And now I want you to take your final spinal twist, whatever you'd like to do, whatever feels right for you, a single bind, a double bind, or anything else that you'd like to do. And if there's anything else in the practice today that we didn't do, go ahead and do it. This is the time to do that before we rest in our final Shavasana. So you've made it through a very physical part of your class. This is the time we totally let go. So when you're satisfied that you've gotten all that you need in the physical part of the class, lay on your back and let your arms rest by your side. Let your hips splay open. Let your entire body melt into the mat. Take this opportunity to completely surrender. There's a lot going on in our lives right now, and it's a very different world that we're living in right now. So this is the one opportunity that you get for you to completely surrender. Scan your body from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet. Direct your breath into areas of tension. Let your breath return to its natural pattern of breath, which is unique to each and every one of us. And then allow your mind to be still. There'll be thoughts, there'll be sounds. A bird will chirp and it'll bring your awareness to the bird, but try to bring back the awareness to the breath. Let go. invite you and encourage you to stay longer in your Shavasana if you'd like to. If you're ready to come out of this, begin to make small little movements through your fingers and your toes and your wrists and your ankles. Deepening your breath, bringing your awareness back into this time and this space. Making your way onto your right side, taking your knees to your chest, making a pillow for your head. Bring your way back to a seated position, find a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace to all. I wish you all good health, happiness, a day full of bliss. Take this feeling and share it with others. And now I bow down and I honor the light, the peace, the goodness within each one of you. Namaste. Satnam, go in peace. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your coming and joining me on Sunday mornings, Monday through Friday at 12:30. Hi, Jill. We have a fitness class, 12:30 every Monday through Friday for 30 minutes. Tomorrow is a kind of a Pilates yoga bar mashup. You'll like that, Lisa Rappaport. And Tuesday is our cardio, and I'll post it online so that you can find where it is. Thank you, Martha. And I will be here next Sunday, and there could be a pop-up yoga class during the week. So watch your Facebook pages if you have any questions. Just get in touch with me right through here. Personally, a lot of you know me, so go ahead and get in touch with me. In the meantime, stay home. Stay healthy, stay fit. Have a great day.